Hi guys, today I just wanted to go over how I've been using my hydroponic garden in the house. I have one that I have started growing lettuce in. I was able to do a really big harvest after about 3 weeks. So I've decided I'm going to kind of rotate. I have a second one of the hydroponic gardens. I'm going to go ahead and plant out with lettuce today, and then that way I can kind of rotate between them, do cut and come again for a little bit before I would have to potentially replant the first one and kind of go back and forth. It's just kind of a way to get more greens without having to spend a lot of money. I already have seeds, and just kind of trying to stretch the grocery budget as far as possible. I feel like every time that I buy a pack of lettuce at the store, within a few days, it's not looking so great. So I just figured I would try to make my own fresh salads at home. So I figured I'd kind of take you along the journey with what I've done with this hydroponic garden. It is not something that's sponsored. I have had these gardens for probably at least 3 to 4 years. But this year I really wanted to focus on trying to grow leafy greens in the summertime because it's way too hot here to be able to grow them. So this is my little arrow garden. It doesn't have anything in it right now. We're gonna go ahead and get that set up. So you do have your little pump in the bottom here. Oh, I think I just lost one of the caps. So for this particular garden, it has 12 spots, and it comes with the baskets. So you've got 12 baskets. This spot is going to stay empty. It has a little cover that I'll have to pick up off the floor in a minute. So I end up putting one basket in each of these spots. And again, the baskets came with the setup, so it's not something I had to buy separately. Although for my other one that I've been using for quite a while, I have replaced baskets at times when I needed to. So these just go in here. And it looks like I do have an extra one here. So, and I've got my sponges. Again, it comes with the sponges, and these will fit perfectly. So I just put one in each of these. We're going to get this planted out so that in about 2 to 3 weeks, we are going to have a really good harvest. So I already picked out some lettuces that I want to try, and a couple of, they're not true spinaches, and there's red Malabar spinach, and there's Egyptian spinach. I just kind of want to try them out and see. I have not tried them yet. I've kind of turned this year into a lot of new stuff. So the hydroponic garden is not new itself, but honestly, I, for quite a while, had this hydroponic system in the box in the garage. I bought it at the same time that I bought the other one that I've been using all this time. And I never, for some reason, got around to opening it. So when I saw how well the lettuce was doing in the other system, I decided it was time to set it up. And this way, like I said, I can kind of rotate back and forth between the two, hopefully be able to grow enough leafy greens for salads and things during the summertime. Okay, so what you'll also get for each of these little pods, there's another little packet here. It has these little plastic domes. So what you'll do is, like, once you have your water in here and you plant your seeds, each one's going to get a little dome for humidity. Once it just sprouts, then you just take the dome off. So all of them are going to have one of these domes on it initially to start. Again, like I said, this spot here is where you put water in. There's a little symbol there. You just stick this guy on top, and then when you need to add water, you just refill it right in there. On the front, it's got a little water indicator. So the 6.5 liters is the maximum. And then what'll happen is, once your seeds start to sprout, then I'll add in some of the fertilizer that you get with this kit. So it comes with an A and a B fertilizer, and it literally has instructions how to mix it, and how much. It has a cap at the top that will have, it's got like a 5 milliliter, 10 milliliter, 15 milliliter, and it will tell you, you know, how much, depending on how much water that you're putting into it. Another thing that I have around here, where'd it go? This comes with these. So on these, they fit, there's like a little circle that comes out, but they fit directly on top of these little baskets. So what I'll do is before I put these on top, I'll write what it is. Like let's say it's the black seeded Simpson lettuce, and I'll write that on there, and then I put it right here. So that way I know exactly what I'm growing. Not a big deal. It does also come with these little labels, but I've never actually used them because I just write it right there on these little stickers. And I feel like they've worked out a lot better. So I am gonna go get some water to put in here. I will be back in just a moment, and we will work on starting our own seeds. All right, guys, so I'm back. I've got the hydroponic garden filled with water. I've got my sponges in here that are now absorbing water. And we're gonna go ahead and plant some seeds. So generally, when I'm doing something like lettuce, I'll usually put a few seeds in the different spots because they don't always germinate, and I want to make sure that I have something that comes up. And actually, give me just a second, guys. Let me, oh, here, I think I have a pen right here. I try to keep a pen, like a garden marker, in my seed containers. This book is mostly like cool weather crops. I have another book that has all of like my warm weather stuff. So the first thing that we're going to do is plant some seeds, the Marvel of 4 Seasons. And I'm going to plant 2 spots of this. Okay, that's going to be hard to read later. So this peels off. And like I said, the sticker, the very center, is going to come off too. Or it's going to come off from this full piece. So you've got a spot right here. I said, I'm going to have to fix that because I'm not going to have any idea what this says. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the slots that are going to be for this particular lettuce. Now, some of my lettuce seed is a little bit on the older side. It's a couple years old. Some of it's newer, so it really just kind of depends. But I buy my seed from a lot of different places. Definitely like Gurney's, Burpees, M.I. Gardener, back to Roots, like a lot of different places. So I don't necessarily stick with one brand. It just really kind of depends on who has the lettuce that I'm looking for, that kind of thing. So for these ones, I think I'm probably going to put, because these seeds are a little bit older, I'm probably going to put like 4 seeds in here. I'm not going to lie, I do not normally thin them out if they do happen to all sprout. And that's just kind of the way I've been doing it. But I do think, you know, some of the issues that I have with growing lettuce, or with having enough lettuce on hand has been that it took a while for me to understand how fast that lettuce seeds lose their viability. So for a while I was growing stuff, I'm like, why is nothing sprouting? What was like 5-year-old seed? And lettuce, the viability drops drastically after about the first year. So I've kind of been doing this thing where I'll do some kind of broadcast sowing during cooler parts of the year. And with the broadcast sowing, whatever pops up, I'll just try to grow that because I'd rather clear space for fresher new seeds. So once I've put my seeds in here, I'm going to put these little lids on here. And these are going to be those little humidity domes. So let's see, next one, we're going to do a butter crunch. The nice thing with the hydroponic garden is you're not dealing with some of the pest pressure that you might otherwise, like outside. And I've had a really good growth. Like, I don't know that I've ever had lettuce outside grow the way that some of this lettuce that I've been growing in the hydroponic garden does. Like, it grows so quickly. I don't know outside if I've ever had a harvest that I could harvest. I could have harvested it like 2 weeks. On this last batch that I did in the other unit, I waited until 3 weeks and it was a humongous bowl of lettuce. And I did cut and come again. So it's continuing to grow. And I've already got the lettuce to be able to make salads for me and my kids. So this one is the butter crunch lettuce. So I think this is a pretty new seed. I've only just purchased it a couple months ago. So probably only going to put like 2 seeds in each spot. And the lettuce seeds are really small, so you definitely want to be careful. The sponges in here, you can't really see, but they're already, they've absorbed the water that's in the tank below, and so they're already wet. I know, like, the instructions say to soak them. I just don't really soak them because I have found that the sponges absorb water so quickly that it's never been an issue. So I don't typically really bother with it. But again, that is the instructions for the unit. It comes with instructions. It comes with a lot of different things. So I think definitely for me, when I first got my hydroponic system, I had no idea what to do. So I feel like it just made it easier. It came as like a kit, and I've had to reorder supplies. But I mean, they've been relatively cheap prices. We're gonna do a Cimarron romaine. And again, I'm doing kind of 2 planting spots for each thing, just to try different stuff. I do like to kind of do a variety of things. I mean, who wants to eat the exact same boring lettuce every day? And although I do mainly grow the lettuce for me, my kids do eat salad. So it's something that they can definitely benefit from. And then this Cimarron lettuce is also very new. So I'm only going to do a couple of seeds in each planting hole. I don't want to overdo it and have it too crowded. And again, like after I place the seeds for each one, just putting them in the middle, I'm going to put another dome on. And once we kind of like turn on the light and all that, you'll kind of see what the idea is. So I think next we're going to do, this one's going to be the black-seeded Simpson. And again, I don't grow lettuce inside in the winter generally because I can plant it outside, but we get so hot here so fast that sometimes you might have to give up on having lettuce in March. Like this year, we suddenly got this freak heat that was in the 90s, and the lettuce and stuff that I had outside, my collards, any of that kind of stuff, it all went to seed in a matter of days because we suddenly got these like 90-something degree temperatures. And then even though it dropped back down and suddenly got cool again, it was enough to knock out all kinds of cool things like my broccoli and cauliflower and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, so this is going to be my black-seeded Simpson. Again, this is a pretty new pack. So I'm just going to do a couple. So I feel like at one point I was doing like, even on the new stuff, like 4 or 5 seeds in a spot. And it just got a little too crazy. Not a lot of, or it was more competition, I guess, for light. So some of it was a little bit leggy, but still tasted good. So I am going to do a red Malabar spinach, and it's some Egyptian spinach. I haven't tried the Egyptian spinach before. Now, something I have done in the past with some of my hydroponic stuff, like last summer, I had started certain things inside that I was struggling to get to start outside. Like I actually started basil inside and then hardened it off and transplanted it out, and it grew beautifully. So I may find that if that works for the red Malabar spinach and the Egyptian spinach, I will most likely harden those off and then transplant them out into the garden. All right, so we're going to do this red Malabar spinach. Like I'm all about trying some new things, even if they're not kind of a traditional leafy green, just something to be able to have that during the summertime. Because I honestly would much rather be eating salad in the summer than the winter anyway. But the lettuce grows so good in the winter versus the summer. It also gets extremely hot here, so it's really hard to find leafy greens that you can grow in the summertime. Like we had a relatively mild summer last year. We got a few triple-digit days. Like the year before, it was mostly triple-digit days and up to 114 degrees. So it's just one of those things that I do find it kind of funny that it's hard to grow the leafy greens here. But again, like I'm trying to find a way not only to stretch my grocery budget, waste less, and I mean, there's always been so many recalls on lettuces and leafy greens that I just would really prefer to grow those things at home under safe conditions. All right, so there's the red Malabar spinach. Okay, and then I've got the Egyptian spinach. a lot of the things that I see and kind of try out, I really saw other people talk about them. And so that's kind of where I decided to start trying some of these things. Like as the Egyptian spinach I had never heard of until a few years ago, watching one of the Self-Sufficient Me show, like the YouTube video, and he talked about the Egyptian spinach, and I've wanted to try it ever since. So I'm really excited to try that. I have found, like when I first started gardening, I would kind of just get seeds anywhere. And I will say, if you get seeds anywhere, be prepared to get anything. Because, and I mean, I'm not the most discerning when it comes to where I'm getting my seeds from, right? But I have found that there have been times where I got things that's like, oh, I'm growing this, and that was not what it was. Or like I knew what it was supposed to look like and it didn't look anything like it. Or not one single seed sprouted. Or sometimes I'd get tiny little bags that someone just wrote something on it. So we'll see whether or not some of this stuff even sprouts. But again, I mean, it's all, for me, I'm just at a point where the garden is just sort of all an adventure. And I know it's not the post that everybody makes. I feel like I am much different about where I get seeds than I used to be. But at the same time, I mean, if I can't find the seed anywhere else, I'll try it from wherever I can get it, really. Okay, so now that we've got all that set, we have this charging cord that plugs into the back. It's down here. Okay, I've got a little outlet over here I'll plug it into. So, right here on top, I think there's a newer model that has like a different setup on top that's more like digital. But so this has water. Let me see if I turn it on. I'm gonna put this as vegetables. It's also got this automatically on for water. So right now, you can't even hear that the motor's on. Like, it's so quiet. The only time that you're really going to hear the motor is if you let the water run really low and it'll start making a weird sound, and then you need to put water in it. So this can go up and down. I don't want to blind anybody, but I have it all the way down typically while I'm waiting for things to sprout. What you may see on some of these little lids is that you may see condensation. Totally normal to see that condensation on those. So that'll usually start up pretty quickly. What I will probably do is turn off the light for tonight because I like to have mine start in the morning time. That way, I don't know, I think it stays on like 12 or 14 hours when you have the vegetable setting. So there's also a different setting here that's for flowers and fruit. And then this last one here is for herbs. So it really depends on what you're putting in here. Although when I've done things like basil, I've just left it under the vegetables. But I've grown a lot of things in here. I did a lot of basil last year. I've done lots of lettuces. I've started tomatoes. Done a lot of different things in the hydroponic garden. Now this one, it's not a brand I had ever heard of before. It's this URUQ, but I've had a lot of great success with it. Like I said, the other unit that I've been using consistently since at least 2013. And I mean, sometimes not always the best with it. There have been times that I've killed my plants because it's just gotten away from me and I just, didn't get around to fixing it. But generally, I find this is a great way to start a lot of different things. On the last batch that I did in the other unit, it took, 2 days for the lettuce to sprout. Some of it may have taken the third day, but it all grew so quickly that I think it's definitely worth a shot if you're wanting to grow leafy greens in the summertime and you don't have any other option. Like, I don't have the space for a greenhouse or anything, or air conditioned. Like, it's going to be hard to grow lettuce when it gets up to 114 degrees. So if I can do this in the house, my house is not going to be nearly as hot as it is outside, and I can just have this on a counter in my kitchen or my office or wherever, and it just makes it really easy to be able to grow food for my house. So I hope you guys enjoyed kind of seeing the setup on this one, getting it planted out. If you enjoyed what you watched, if you can like, share, comment, subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye. So it is Wednesday morning. Monday night I did a video where I started seeds in the hydroponic garden. We have plenty of things that have sprouted, so we're going to take the lids off of them. Got a couple other things that are not, that look like they are swelling and more than likely will be sprouting in the next probably day or so. That one, not quite. All right, so it looks like in less than 48 hours we have half of the pods that have sprouted. So that is how quickly that lettuce can start in a hydroponic garden.